Hello, everybody. It's Donna Cravata, and we're back again for another Real 50 Over 50 interview. And today's really special, and I will explain why in a moment. For 3 years and more than 150 interviews, I've never once invited a man onto the show. And it's not because I'm a man hater. I'm not a man hater. I love my men. but but this was all created because women over 50 are systemically told, and often by themselves, to shut
Mhm.
up and sit down, step aside. And that's why this whole thing was created. So it's only been women over 50 until I met Brad Walsh, this man right here. And he is exactly the right person to be the first male guest on this show. Um, he was raised by a single mom. He inside the web of strong women, and that's where his story started. And then it grew from there. And he became a photographer, and in the most intimate of those sessions, women trusted him with their real stories. And I'm talking about the stories that we usually keep private, or maybe we don't even remember until we feel safe to share them. Um, when the pandemic hit, photo sessions kind of weren't happening.
Yeah.
So he moved those conversations onto a podcast, and it's titled Empowerography, and it's now a top 1.5% globally rated show built to elevate and amplify the voices of women. And he's also an international best-selling author, a speaker, a women's empowerment photographer, and soul empowerment guide. He's also about to launch a podcast guesting course, and he's doing something else that's really interesting too. He's always up to something, this guy. He's building a platform, a book, a TEDx talk around allyship, drawn from those hundreds of conversations. And he's doing this because he always thought being an ally was a destination, until he realized it was not. It's a practice. It's not one and done. It's something that you do every damn day. And he's still figuring it out, as we all are, but he's committed to continuing to listen and to learn and to teach others to do the same. So, welcome, Brad, and I'm honored to have you on the other side of the mic.
Oh my gosh, Donna. Well, first of all, thank you for that incredible introduction. And I just have to say, I am beyond honored to be here with you. And of course, to be the very first man on the Real 50 Over 50 in over 3 years and over 150 interviews. I am just, I can't find the words, honestly, to thank you for the opportunity to be here on your platform and to really, I mean, this is an incredible. I mean, we're making history right here. The first man on the Real 50 Over 50. So I can't thank you enough for this amazing opportunity, and
Oh,
thank you for having me. And I'm grateful to be connected to you and to call you a friend and to have you in my world and in my community and in my sphere. So thank you so much, Donna. I'm so excited to be here.
yeah, and it's funny. I was introduced to Brad by Laurie Seymour,
Hmm.
and then I was chatting with somebody that we were both, I didn't realize at the time, mutually connected to. And I mentioned that the first male guest was going to be on the show. And she said, I hope it's Brad Walsh.
I believe, if memory serves correctly, I believe that was Anastasia Lipsky, right?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
But of all the men in all the
Yeah,
world.
yeah, exactly. What just incredible. I mean, this work has been an amazing journey, and the incredible women that I've had the opportunity to meet and to connect with because of this platform has been absolutely phenomenal. So you are another one of those amazing women that I've been connected to, and thank you once again to Lori for connecting us.
um, I get so excited every time I meet a new person that
Mhm.
is leading a community like this, because there's so much going on, that we don't get to see, people that we don't get to meet in our
Yeah.
little worlds, unless a door opens somewhere.
Mhm.
And the level of work that people are doing in their own small little ecosystems, is amazing. And then when you can expand that a little bit, by introducing somebody or sharing their voice or sharing their story or untapping something that they didn't remember before.
Hmm.
Um, it's just so incredibly rewarding. And I mean, I start every day thinking, what's going to happen that I don't know right now?
Or who am I going to meet
Yeah.
today? Or, I mean, I think that is one of the most powerful and incredible pieces of hosting a show, being a podcast host and having your own show and having is the community piece of it, the connection piece of it. I think those are two of the most important pieces. There's three, in my opinion, three pillars. So community, connection, and collaboration. Those are the three most important parts. And you get all of those when you host a show. You get to meet incredible people. And when you get to a point where you are with your show, where I am with my show, where you've done quite a few episodes, you've put out a lot of content, you don't have to go searching for guests anymore, because people in your community, your friends, they connect you with other amazing people who they know will be a good fit for your community and for your show. So I think that's another piece of the beauty of having a show, is those connections that you get to make on a daily basis. It is absolutely incredible and just
Yeah.
so inspiring.
I mean, I'm booked till December, and
Wow.
and in the 3 years I've been doing this, we've been consistently booked 3, 4, sometimes 5 months in advance.
Yeah, I think I'm booked into August or September now. So I'm getting there. I'm behind you a little bit, but I'm catching up.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is. It is, but it's a good problem to have, right? I mean,
It
when you
is. It is.
have people that want to be on your show, I
Mhm.
mean, that's
Well,
that's a
what I started to do just to keep the embers burning, is I started to do one less interview per month,
okay.
and do a monthly meet and mingle where we just kind of
Right.
get together on Zoom, and
Mhm.
they've been really, really well received. We've been doing them about 7 months now, and I'm booked out to the end of the year with those as well. And
Amazing.
it's usually about 20 people that show up.
That's
If
nothing
anyone
wrong
wants
with
to,
that.
you know,
Yes, I will
go to
be
my
at your next
website,
one.
find the link. It's on the events page,
Didn't
and
you
join.
just have one recently?
Yeah, we have it. It's the last Wednesday of every month at noon
Right.
Eastern.
Okay.
And they're, I mean, somebody cried in the last one. There's
It's
no,
always great to evoke emotion.
yeah, there's no recordings, no replays.
Mhm.
Whoever just shows up, shows up.
Yeah.
Um, I'm selfishly, I just was figuring out the way to make this as easy as possible for me, but it
Yes,
turned out to
well,
be something that they like.
that's good. I mean, yes, you have to put yourself first and think of what works for you, but also at the same time, when it works out for everyone that's part of it and attending, it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, I just wanted to create something that was sustainable. Like, that I didn't want to create something I'd be able to do for a month and then just wouldn't have the capacity to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed with you.
That's wisdom. Um,
Yes, for sure.
anyway, enough about that scheduling and let's talk about hiding.
Mm. Hiding, yes. Well, we all do it. I was doing it for quite a while, hiding behind the mic, being the host of a podcast, right? So I think we all do it. And I think it takes real courage to step out from behind the mic. And as the host of a show, when you're interviewing people, as you know, Donna, the spotlight and the show is not about you. It's got nothing to do with you. It's
Hmm.
about your guests and shining a light on them and the work they do. So it takes a lot of courage and strength to turn the light around and shine it on yourself and step out from behind the mic onto the other side of the mic and
Hmm.
start to share your wisdom and your insights and your experiences. And, you know, I published my 778th episode on Monday. And in all that time, up until about episode 700 and some odd, I'd only ever done 2 solo episodes in all of that time.
Wow.
And late last year, I decided, okay, it's time for me to start stepping onto the other side of the mic and out of the interview chair. And so I've now published 6 solo episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to take that leap. and step into visibility. And I mean, if I'm expecting other people to be visible, to have the courage to be visible, that's kind of hypocritical if I'm hiding behind a mic. So it was that epiphany or that catalyst moment that's like, wait a minute, how I can't do this if I'm expecting others to do it, or I'm asking others to do it. I have to also model that behavior. So it took some courage and some inner strength and some reaching down deep within to I don't want to say push myself. That's not the right word, but
Mhm.
to step out from behind the mic and to start doing that. But now I love it. I love being on the other side of the mic. And I made a promise to myself late last year that I would start doing exactly that. And I have kept that promise to myself. I am focusing on getting myself out there on more shows. Here
Mhm.
we are right now being a guest. I'm a guest on your show. And so these are all parts of stepping into and owning my visibility and my confidence to do that. And it takes practice. So the more you do it, the easier it gets. And so it's been a journey, and it is a journey, but I'm really enjoying the journey. And that's not to say I don't get nervous. I was telling you before we got on to this interview today, I'm feeling a little nervous, and you're like, "Oh, there's nothing to be nervous about. It's just you and I talking. Who cares?" Right? So, but once you get into the conversation, it's okay. And I find it's the same thing with when you're shining a light on yourself. It Once you get into it and start doing it more regular, it gets easier.
Yeah. So has anything changed for you since you started putting yourself out there a bit more?
Um, I'm feeling more confident in myself because I'll be honest, I struggle with confidence. That's one of my things that I struggle with, and um, visibility, of course. But I'm feeling more confident about it and getting more comfortable being on the other side of the microphone. Um, because I would always worry about flubbing words and making mistakes when I'm talking and saying the wrong thing, and but I've gotten to a point now where it's starting to dissipate, and I'm not worried about that so much. I don't get so much up in my own head because I find when you do that, that's where you make the mistakes, when you start overthinking things. And overthinking is the art of creating problems that don't even exist. So I'm really trying to be more conscious of that and just going with the flow and rolling with the conversation.
That is such a true statement.
I am a classic overthinker. I overthink everything. So trying to be conscious of that and catch myself when I'm doing it and try and dial it back and stop that when it's happening.
Yeah, I've trained my AI to catch me
Have you really? That is amazing. To catch you when you're overthinking?
because I'm putting stuff in there and
Right.
working through my ideas in
Yeah.
there, and I put it in my instructions to stop me when I'm just spiraling.
So what happens when you start spiraling, when you start
It
overthinking?
tells me
What
to
is
cut it out. Or it'll say, "Do you really wanna do that?" Or that's conflicting with what you said 5 minutes ago.
that is incredible. I love that. Well, we have to do what we have to do to help stop ourselves, right? And
It's
step
hell.
into and own our take responsibility for what we're doing and redirect.
Well, it's awareness, you don't realize
Yeah.
when it's a habit and likely a habit you've had for a very long time.
Yes.
It's where you go when, you're not feeling steady,
Hmm.
and, most of the time, if we're aware of these things, we'll stop doing them because at this stage of the game, we know it's not in our best interest, right?
For sure. Self-awareness is key, and that is a practice we have to work at to build up that muscle of
Yeah,
self-awareness. It's not easy, but it can be done for sure. And hey, if you've got to use tools like AI to help you, why not? Also have an accountability partner or friends or members of your community that can help you in that as well.
yeah.
Lean
It
on your community.
I do better with the bots.
You don't have to deal with people.
Well, I always end up being the one that, like, carries those relationships.
Ah, yes, you are the one who holds the other accountable.
Yeah, so I don't do a lot of that anymore.
Well, hey, If you've got to use AI to help you, why not? If it works, if it's
Yeah,
helping you step into that self-awareness, then great.
yeah, it really does help. So now I want to talk about like what happens with the women that you, um, whether you're, there as a photographer or the host of your show, or in coaching,
Hmm.
um, like what's that thing that happens right before they realize that they have to stop hiding, they have to put something down, they have to stop, they either have to put down the armor or step outside of it.
I think it starts before that, in that they know that, let's say the podcast, they know that that's a safe space and a safe container for them to come in and share. They know they can be vulnerable. And it's very, very similar with the photography piece as well, because the relationship gets established right from the point of contact, where if a potential client reaches out for a shoot, there's that rapport that starts being built right there from the first bit of contact through the emails. And then of course there's always going to be a pre-shoot consult that's done. So we get on a call and I have a list of questions that we go through and talk about, and I get an idea of what the client is looking for in her shoot. And the same thing with the podcast, where I do a discovery call and they connect with me. And I mean, like we said earlier, usually the women that are coming on to the show, they've been connected to me through someone else, so they already have an idea of what I'm about and what the show's about. So I think that there's already that, not expectation, that's not the right word, but there's already that knowing before they get connected to me. So through the discovery call for the podcast, then that's where we connect and we see that we connect on an energetic level and we have the discussion and we can carry a conversation very well. So again, I think the connection starts even before the actual interview.
Hmm.
And so it's already built up, that relatability, that connectivity between myself and the potential guest. It's already there. So it's kind of like there's really no armor that's up before we get on the call to do the actual interview.
Hmm.
Now, that's not to say, again, going back to the visibility piece, the nervousness is there. And when that comes up, I just tell them exactly, very, very similar to what you told me when I told you I was nervous. That this, I always tell it, this is just a conversation between two friends. Look at it as we're sitting on a couch together and we're having a coffee or we're having a
Hmm.
drink or whatever, and we're just chatting. And I mean, you can't screw this up. We're talking about you. It's your story. It's your journey. And that's exactly what I tell them, is you can't screw this up. This is your story. You know you better than anybody. So don't stress about it. It flows like a conversation. It's very easygoing. There's
Yeah.
no stress, no pressure, and we just jump in. So there's really, that's the only thing that I've had to deal with really, is that nervousness piece. And those are even far and few between because we've already connected. So it's not really an issue that I've come across.
And even in photography, like women aren't like realizing things that they didn't share
Oh, yeah,
before.
the photography thing's a little bit different. Like I said, there's been a connection established, but there is nervousness there because they're stepping in front of a camera. And let's be honest, 95 to 98% of women are not used to stepping in front of a camera and being photographed. So, I mean, there's the nervousness, of course, because they don't know how to pose, or what should I do with, where should I put my hands, or so I try and keep the environment very light and easygoing and humorous. And one thing that I do that I find helps is showing my clients the back of the camera throughout
Mhm,
the entire shoot, so that
mhm,
they know that they're doing okay. And there's constant encouragement, of course, telling them how great they're doing and they're looking great. And showing them the back of the camera, I think, is key. And I know that a lot of photographers don't like doing that because they don't want to show unedited images, but I'm okay with that. I'll show you what we're capturing. So because you got to figure, like I said, most of these women have never been in front of a camera
mm,
in terms of a photo shoot, a proper photo shoot. So they're wondering, I'm sure, well, am I doing this right? Am I posing right? How am I looking? All of these things. So I'm constantly showing them the back of the camera during the shoot and encouraging them, telling them how great they're doing and all of these things, which just creates that very comfortable environment to be in, because that's my job as a photographer, is to create an environment of comfort so that they know that it's okay, you can be yourself, you can lighten up. And I like to joke around and have fun and all of these things. And of course I have my hair and makeup artist there with me throughout the whole shoot, so it's a very comfortable and laid back environment. I'm very laid back and just easygoing. So my energy also brings that into the environment and helps to create that environment for the clients to relax. And again, same with the podcast. I'm very laid back. So the conversation just flows and it's a very relaxed environment to have a conversation.
One of my favorite guest stories was somebody that I know for a very long time, but she'd never been interviewed before,
Hmm.
and she was so nervous, and she kept she kept like putting it off and canceling.
Hmm.
One second. My computer unplugged
Oh,
for some reason.
that's not good.
Had a low battery sign. But anyway, I interviewed her and she was really relaxed. And at the end, she was like, "Oh my God, that was so easy. I want to do this every day." She just been on so many interviews.
But see, that speaks volumes as to who you are as a host, because you create that environment for your guests to feel comfortable and safe and be able to be vulnerable and share. And that's our job as hosts, I think, of podcasts and shows, is that's what you're here to do, is to create an environment where the guest feels comfortable enough to get vulnerable and to share, because that's what you want. You want your
Yeah,
guests to be vulnerable and share things and open up, because that vulnerability creates relatability, which then creates connection with the audience, which is so important. That's your job as a host, is to create that.
yeah. And then trust.
Yes, for sure. That is the biggest factor, because if you don't trust, you're not going to open up and be vulnerable and share. So that's
Yeah.
what it starts with, definitely. Is
So,
creating that environment for trust.
share some of your favorite stories of your
Oh
interview
man.
photography, or things that
Ugh.
maybe things you didn't expect. I love those things that you didn't expect.
Oh, geez. I've had quite a few women cry when I'm interviewing them because they've felt vulnerable enough to share. I had a woman tell me that she shared something with me on the podcast, and she told me afterwards that she's never ever shared that before with anybody. So that, I think, when someone says that to you, you know that you have created a container for your guests to feel comfortable enough to do something like that. And what an honor to be invited into that space. And that's how I look at every interview, to be honest, Donna, is because I'm a male hosting a podcast that solely focuses on amplifying and elevating women's voices. What an absolute honor it is to be invited into that space, to
Mm,
share in that vulnerability. And I always say it's like I am being invited into the passenger seat of their car. They're taking me on the journey of their story. I get to sit front seat and witness that. What an honor that is. And I've had that opportunity over 800 times. And it is never lost on me. The honor is never lost on me. I am incredibly grateful to every single woman that has invited me into that space, invited me into their car to go on that journey of their life, of their story
yeah.
with them. And so, it's every story is so unique. Um, so I think it's those moments when we either the questions evoke such emotion in a guest. So that's always unexpected, actually, when a guest starts crying because of the question that I've asked or the answer that they've shared. I think that's probably the most unexpected thing. And then when a guest shares something that they've never ever shared with anyone publicly,
Mhm.
those two things are the most beautiful and powerful things for me, in my opinion, as a host of a podcast, is to be witness to that, to bear witness to that, and to be part of that, to be trusted enough for that share.
Yeah. It really is, and it is it is a gift. The entire thing is a gift.
Hmm.
I'm trailing way behind you in episode, but
You'll get there. You'll
I'll
get
get
there.
there.
I
I love
also started ahead of you, so
you
there's
did,
that
you
too.
did. But every it's my favorite day of the week.
It really is amazing to have these conversations, and again, like I said, to be invited into that space to have the conversation with that person. The honor is beyond. There's not enough words to express fully the honor that it is to share in that conversation, to be invited into that space, because so a lot of these women are sharing very vulnerable things about their stories, pieces of their lives, of their journey. So it's it's really incredible. It really sets my soul on fire. It really does.
So now, how has this kind of awakened the ally in you?
Oh, well, um, being in these spaces. I mean, I've always been around women, raised by my mom and my grandmother, um, living in the house I live in with my wife and daughters. Well, my oldest has left, but being around women. And then, of course, the work I'm doing as a photographer, as a podcast host, I'm always around women. So I think it's just been a gradual progression of stepping into and learning that. And this this honor, this the ability to have these conversations, and the education that I have received from all of these interviews. You
No
can't
joke.
pay for that education. You
It's no
cannot,
joke.
and I'm sure you agree.
Yeah,
You get to be
100%.
part. I've learned things about stuff I had no idea about, nor did I even think I would ever learn anything about. So that right there is one of the biggest gifts, is the education that I get, and it's free. I
Yeah.
mean, I get to learn all of these different things. Um, I have learned to become a much better listener, for sure, because as you know, being the host of a show, you have to know how to listen. And most people that we speak to, and not on the podcast, but just in general in life, they're listening to respond. And you
Yeah.
can't do that. You have to listen with intent. You have to hold space. You have to create that container so that they feel comfortable enough to share, as we said, but you have to pay attention to what your guests are saying. I had a woman, I remember one of the early episodes, I think it was in the hundreds, early 150, maybe it was 200, in and around there. I'd interviewed a woman, and she was telling me afterwards, after the interview was released, that she was listening to the interview in her car with her daughter on the way they were going somewhere. And it was part of the way into the interview, and her daughter said to her, she says, "Wow, he listens really well. He brought up something that you talked about earlier, much earlier in the interview." And so that compliment, I mean, that is
Mhm.
incredible. But that is our job,
Yeah.
is to listen and pay attention to what's being said. So I'd say that's probably the biggest thing, is the listening piece of it. Um, I've evolved completely as a man. Getting the opportunity to speak with all of these women has changed who I am as a
So
man.
that's changed your relationship with your wife and your daughters and friends.
Everything. Yeah, it's been incredible. Like I said, you cannot pay for this
Yeah.
education and this learning process. It has been so amazing.
Have you ever hosted any panels?
Yes, I have actually.
That's PhD level right there.
Oh, but you know what? That I love that, because when you're hosting a panel, it gives the opportunity for the panelists to interact with each other, and you get to see them play off of each
Yeah.
other, which is amazing. But yes, that is definitely a whole different ball of wax, hosting panels. And I've
I, I-
hosted
I've I've hosted a few where I forgot, like I was supposed to be leading this.
yeah, because you get caught up in listening to the conversation among the panelists, right? But it is a whole other ball of wax hosting a panel, and because there you really have to be paying attention and
Mhm.
listen to what's going on and watching what's happening. And So it's next level for sure. I mean, hosting a show is up there, but hosting a panel is even more so in terms of listening and paying attention. But that's your job as a host. And as a host of a panel, we do that with the Empowerography conference every year, hosting panels, 5 panels in a day.
Hmm.
We do that. And I used to do something called the empowerment sessions, empowerment unfiltered sessions, where it would be myself and 3 or 4 other guests, and we would pick a topic and just riff on that topic for an hour. So again, you're facilitating, you're leading that conversation. So it is definitely another level for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's
It's
fun.
it is fun. It is fun. I stopped doing them because it was a lot, and there's a lot to maintain, all the work around it. But I'll do them again at some point.
I think though something that doesn't get talked about, I think, and I'm sure you can speak to this, is as a host, listening to all of these stories, the weight that you carry,
Mm,
because you walk away with that weight of whatever. And some of the stories and journeys, I mean, we're talking about people's lives, so it can get pretty heavy. And so to walk away with that energy, because it's not just you turn the mic off and get out of the call and it's done. You think about what you've heard, you process what you've heard, because you're not really processing it during the conversation. You're listening and paying attention, absolutely, so you can participate in the conversation. But when it's done, that's a lot of energy to carry.
yeah,
And so we also need as hosts to take care of ourselves in that regard, where we give ourselves the time and the space to process and be kind to yourself, be pro what's the word I'm looking for? Protect your energy as well.
yeah. And then when you start to do the editing and create the post
Mhm.
production work,
Yeah.
you hear it in an entirely different context and effect.
Yes. Definitely. Definitely. I love the post-production part of it. I really do. I really enjoy that piece of it. I mean, that's what I went to school for, was audio and video production. So I love being in that zone, because then I can just be, and no one, like, I'm in a protective bubble and I'm just focusing on the work that I'm doing, and time flies.
Mhm. Yeah, that's not my favorite part.
Well, the interviews are the favorite part, but I do love the post-production part of it as well.
We have a nice partner
Ah.
here.
Korea. Yes, I know Korea. Thank you.
And I agree. I agree. So, what do you want people to know
Hmm.
from all you've learned, from all the wisdom and all the stories and all the vulnerable moments and trust? What is the thing that you would want people to understand from everything that has been shared with you?
There's a few. One is that we have everything we need within us. It's already there. You don't have to get it externally, and you're not going to get it externally. It is all within you. You have all the answers inside of you already. You just have to relearn, or remember to tap into that and trust in that, and relearn how to trust in that. It's not easy, but it's all there within you. And you have the capability to do anything you want in this life. Anything is possible. You just have to believe in yourself. Another thing is that, I used to get so caught up in, if I was hoping something would happen, or I would get this gig, or I would, like photography, I'd get this photography gig and it'd be great. But I learned that what's meant for you will never go by you.
Hmm.
If you don't get that gig or that job or whatever it is that you're hoping for, that just means it wasn't meant for you. There's something bigger and better around the corner coming for you. So don't get caught up in the, oh, I wish I got that. I wish I got that gig. I wish I got that client, whatever it is. It wasn't meant for you. Just let it go. And it's easier said than done. It takes work, it takes practice to get to that point. But believe me, you will be so much better off
That's
if
freedom.
you just believe in that. Is freedom. If you just believe in that, we have to step into and own that energy. Now, as far as the lessons that I've learned from the women I've interviewed, oh man, it's quite a few. I think one of the important ones, well, I mean, they're all important, but that we have been so focused as a society on, let's use corporate as an example, fixing the women that are in corporate. And that's not what needs to be fixed. It's women need more executive presence training. Women need more confidence training. Women need more leadership training. No, they don't. It is we are fixing the wrong. I submitted a TEDx talk, and the theme of the event is WTF, and that you can interpret that as any way you wish. And so I interpreted that as wrong thing fixed. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Is we've been so focused on fixing, in quotes, the women, when it's not the women that need fixing. It is the
Mhm.
systems that need fixing. We need to shift the perspective and shift the lens in which we're looking at this through. These systems were created and built by men for men.
Yeah,
We
a
have to
long
stop.
time ago.
Yes, a long, long time ago. And that's why, because women way back then, women weren't in the workforce. So it's time for an upgrade. It's time for a change. We have to start over again and rejig the systems so that we're not expecting women to step into and adopt this male energy, because women have been doing that for so long. It's time to change the systems. We have to.
Well, they don't
It,
work it.
no, they don't. And people are seeing that. People are starting to wake up and realize that no, this doesn't work anymore. Men and women alike, more so women, of course, because they are the ones who have been pushed into these systems that aren't working for them. They experience it firsthand. But we need more men standing up and saying, no, we have to change things. We have to change the way we're doing things. So this is part of what I am trying to do through my work around allyship and the importance of it, and just bringing awareness. We start with conversations exactly like this one. We start talking about it. We start bringing awareness to people. We start planting seeds for people through these conversations that we're having, like you and I are having today, and posting about it, talking about it, and bringing everybody to the table to participate in the conversation. Because a room full of women talking about an issue like allyship, that's an echo chamber. We need to bring men into the conversation, right? If it's just women talking to women about the importance of ally, what good is that? There's no men there to hear it and to know what they're doing wrong or
Mhm.
what they're not doing. Maybe not doing wrong, but what needs to change with what they're doing. So we need to give more people a seat at the table to share. And again, this goes back to the listening piece. We have to learn to listen. Listen. I created I came up with an acronym for heart led listening. It's called HEAR. And the acronym is H stands for holding space, E stands for empathize without ego, A stands for ask questions, be curious, and R stands for respond with presence. If we just adopted and embodied that method of listening, I think things would change drastically, because that is part of the problem, is that we don't listen to each other. We're too busy as one person's talking, formulating the answer that we're going to respond with before they've even finished. Listen with intent. Listen, we have to go into conversations with an open mind, an open heart, and open ears. We have two ears and one mouth for a reason. Use your ears more than you use your mouth. Listen, because I'm not saying you have to change your outlook or change your perspective on what that person says, but if you're at least open enough to hear it, you could walk away with a very different perspective. You
Or
could
you could
walk
hear
away.
something else.
Exactly. You could learn, you will learn something if we listen. You could
And
change so much if we learn to listen, and listen actively, listen with intent, practice the hear method. I
mhm.
mean, I think that's where it needs to start. Well, conversations where it starts, but then the other side of that is learning to listen properly. So if we
and
brought, sorry, go ahead.
and to not get caught up in the fear, because
Yes.
so much of that is based on institutional fear.
Yep. Definitely. Definitely. Absolutely. But again, we need to change the perspective. And we
Yeah.
do that, I think, by the conversations, but inviting more people to the table
Yes.
and listening to their opinions. You may not agree with it, and that's okay. You don't have to. I'm not saying you've got to agree with everyone's opinion. I think if you start waffling like that, I think that's an issue. You have to stay strong in your beliefs, but you
Mhm.
also have to stay open to hear other perspectives.
Mhm.
Keep an open mind, and that will help change everything. Like I said, open mind, open heart, open ears. That's how we have conversations, and that's
And
what
then
needs to,
there needs to be multiple generations at that
for sure.
table as well.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%. We can't discount people. We need to listen to what they have to say, but it just things need to change. We've gone too long with the way things are, and so we need to change things. We need to change the women. I mean, I published a piece recently on the whole midlife clarity, and there's this belief in a lot of people that once women are past a certain age, put them out to pasture, they're done. And I've talked to so many women who are in that second act of their lives, and they're like, no, life is just getting started. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
this
yeah. And
this is what
one of the things that you said is that we need to remember who we are. And what I did a couple of months ago was I took the transcripts from 145 interviews and 18 panels, and I
Mhm,
uploaded it into Google Notebook LM, which is a closed AI environment.
mhm,
And I started to ask questions. So I asked, how many topics did we talk about?
mhm.
347 topics. And what was the top 10? The number one was remembering and reclaiming.
There you go.
Reinvention was not in the top 10.
Mhm. Well, I think a big part of that for women is that they have been conditioned to believe that, and this is one of the most common themes, I think, is that women have been conditioned to believe that they've got to put everybody else first and they
Yes.
get the crumbs. And that's what I call the piece about that is stop taking the crumbs,
Yeah.
because you when we put ourselves on the back burner and give to everyone else first, there's nothing left for us. We have completely depleted ourselves. So, and this is a hell of a lot more common in women. And I
Mhm.
know that through all the conversations I've had, that no, it's time to start putting yourself first. And I'm not saying, and yes, you know what? I'm going to say this, and it may not be popular. You may not agree with me, but put yourself above your kids, because when you
Oh,
put
I
yourself
agree. Yeah.
first, you have that much more within you. Feel as the analogy, or the what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, you can't pour from an empty cup, and you
Mhm.
can't, as trivial as that sounds, and I know we've all heard it, put your own oxygen mask on first. These sayings were created for a reason. I had someone tell me that, um, when we fill a teacup, when you fill a cup or a coffee cup, whatever you want to use as an example, and the saucer underneath, what's in the cup is for you. What's in the saucer, the overflow, is what you give to other people.
Yeah.
That's what women need to start doing and looking at. And it's not selfish to put yourself
No.
first. It is self-love. It is exactly the opposite. It is self-care and self-love when you put yourself first, because then you have that much more to give to others. And it's probably going to piss some people off and upset some people, because that's boundary setting, and people don't like when people put up boundaries.
Yeah. Well, I agree. Not enough people have boundaries.
It's very true. Very
I
true.
didn't have them until a few years ago, and I was called a boundaries bitch yesterday. I was like, I'll take it.
It's not easy. It is
No,
not easy
well,
to do.
it's not easy to start, but once you
No.
start, it's easy to adopt.
Mhm.
I did not have a boundary until I was in my mid-50s,
There you
and
go.
I really didn't start to build out the whole concept of putting myself first until 3 years ago,
Mhm.
and
And
it looks
that's
like
it.
Katrina might be in the same boat.
Well, even to look at the whole empty nest syndrome.
Yeah.
Women go through that and suffer through that more than men, because women
I
have
didn't think
are the caregivers and the nurturers for their kids, right? So it's and then when so they spend all their lives giving, giving, giving to their kids. And again, I'm not by any means saying don't
mhm,
give to your kids. That's not what I'm saying. But when you constantly are just focused on your kids and putting yourself on the back burner, what I've learned through the conversations is women forget who they are.
yeah,
They don't even know who they are. So when the kids leave the nest, when they move out, they're like, who the hell am I? What now? What do I do? My kids have been my focus. Now what the hell do I do? I've got all this time on my hands because
they
I'm
get a
not giving it
divorce.
all. In some cases, yes. But it's, you know, I don't know what to do with myself. I have all this time on my hands because all my time has been dedicated to my kids. And this is, I think this is part of the reason, in my opinion, for putting yourself first when the kids are younger, because then it won't be as hard for that empty nest when it comes time for the kids to leave, because have already been putting yourself first, figuring out what you want, figuring out what makes you happy, doing the things that bring you joy, so that when they do leave, you have that already in place because you've been doing it. And again, that's not to say that it's not going to be hard when your kids leave. Of course it is. But it'll give you a different perspective. It'll give you a different outlook, and it'll give you more time with yourself, which is what we all need.
Mm, yeah,
So it has, it's multifaceted, and it has many benefits to doing that, to putting ourselves first. But this is something that I've learned that a lot of women struggle with.
yeah. I mean, I was a single parent,
Hmm.
so there was nobody else. So everything was
Exactly.
on me, and um, I think it's a little different when my son went off.
Hmm.
We were both really ready for him to go.
Yeah.
We had enough togetherness, and it wasn't
would
a
you would you
negative
say it
thing.
strengthened your relationship, him leaving?
He needed to exert his independence,
Hmm.
so he was a bit of a jerk for a while.
Oh,
And he
okay.
admits it and apologized, but I just stepped back. I didn't fight
Hmm.
with him. I didn't argue. I didn't create any kind of pushback.
Hmm.
He was okay. I said, "Listen, if you need me, I'm here, but I'm
Yeah.
just gonna back up and give you your space." And I didn't see him very much for about 2 years,
Hmm.
and it definitely made our relationship stronger now
Yeah.
because he needed it. He didn't know any way to be without me taking care of everything for him.
Hmm.
And it wasn't even that that's what I wanted to do, but there really wasn't an option, there was
Yeah.
nobody else.
Yeah. Well, that can lead to a whole other ball of problems where,
Yeah,
parents are doing absolutely everything for their kids. And then they get to a point where they're almost adults, or at least stepping into the mid-teens and
mhm,
towards adulthood, and they
mhm.
don't know what the hell to do for themselves, or how to take care of themselves, or how to do anything for themselves. And that's not good either.
No, and what I did in raising him, when he was maybe 10th grade,
Hmm.
we started adulting school, and we made a list of about 200 things that he was gonna need to learn how to do before he went
Okay.
off on his own. And we went through that list, and we kept adding
You
things
got
and
them all
checking
done?
things off. We did, and he was class of 2020, so he was
Hmm.
COVID college. And
Wow.
he came back after the first semester, and he thanked me. He goes, "These people don't know how to do anything."
See, that's what a good parent does, though, is teach them the life skills. That's what they
Yeah,
need, and
yeah, and what
it's
I
important.
did was, like, because I knew it was just gonna be a hard separation just because I was on
Yeah.
autopilot, and he was a child. He was
Yeah.
still a 10-year-old boy. And, I told him, I said, "We need to change our roles, our relationships with
Mhm.
each other," and that, I would become his momsultant, and he would
I
need to
love
tell
that.
me if he needed his mom or if he needed his
Mhm.
momsultant. And, this way I didn't, like, come in and make him into a project because I was
Right.
very happy to do that. That was within
Yeah.
my comfort zone.
Mhm.
But I didn't wanna do that unless he needed it because,
Yeah.
it would just be very overwhelming. And,
Again, it goes back to boundaries.
Yeah. So, and it's worked out really well. He'll call me up, and sometimes I could just tell by the way he's breathing who he needs.
Yeah.
Um, but when I show up as a momsultant, I'm showing up like I'm showing up for work. And when he needs mommy, I show up, and there's
As a
usually shopping
mom.
involved.
Mom Sultant. I love that. That's awesome. You should trademark that term.
I'm good. I have one child. He's flown.
There you go. But
He's working. He's taking care of
yeah.
himself. He's paying his own bills. Life is good.
Mhm. But
And
just back to that just being able to put yourself first
yeah,
and give yourself that space so that things aren't so difficult and you're not feeling so lost later on, I think is key. But this is something, another very common thread among
yeah,
the women that I've interviewed is that putting everyone else ahead of themselves. And, you know, it just, there's so many things that need to change. And we need to do our part. We all need to do our part because honestly, I think that the only way for us as a human, as humans, as a human race to move forward and to have impact and to create impact in this world is to come together and work together because we cannot do this alone. All the men in the world cannot do it by themselves, nor can all the women. We are meant to do this thing called life
together.
together with each other, supporting each other. So, like I said, more men need to step up and step into that energy to help cheerlead and lift our women. That's part of our responsibility to do that so that women know that we're here to support them and lift them up and that, we can do, the only way is to do it together in community, in conjunction with one another. That's what we're meant to do as humans. We need to stop this labeling and pointing the fingers at each other because women blaming the men and the patriarchy and men saying women are this and women are that, it's not getting us anywhere. We're staying stuck and we're not going
Yeah,
to advance.
and with anything,
Hmm.
there are people that are good, positive
Hmm.
people, and there are people that are not.
Yes. Yeah.
And that doesn't really, that's gender, race, and
Yeah.
age,
Hmm.
um, inclusive.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? Those people, that's their journey, and that's okay. If that's the journey you're on, all the luck in the world to you, but I'm over here and I want us to come together and work together and create impact in this world. And that's what we're all here to do is
Yeah,
to be in and of service to one another, to create impact in the world. And the only way to do it is together with one
yeah,
another. So we
yeah.
need to get our heads out of our asses and start waking up and realizing that this is what we have to do in
We
order
have
to
to
move
stop
forward as
fighting.
a human race. Yes, because pointing the finger at each other isn't going to solve anything.
And you know, when I think about all of these various conversations that you're leading, that I'm leading, and I mean, I probably know 50 other people that are
Mhm.
leading conversations that are similar to these. And I think about, like, even if there's one person or two people or a handful of people that hear these conversations, and it makes an impact. It shows them a different way. It shows them something that they didn't know or never considered or looked at differently. I mean, it's just magic.
It is. It is. It really is. And I think that is one of the best parts about hosting a show is that through these conversations, we get to plant seeds for people. We get to give people information that they never even knew existed.
Yeah.
Methods,
Or that they needed it.
yeah, yes, absolutely. Methods, modalities, all these
Mhm.
different things. We get to help put that out into the world. And what an incredible gift that is.
Yeah.
What an incredible honor that is to be able to do that, to help plant seeds and educate people. And I think this is another thing because as show hosts, we don't know really who's listening, who's picking up the lessons. You have to trust and allow and believe that it's reaching the people that need it. And that's a big part of it. It's just trusting and allowing and believing that it will reach the right people. We don't find out unless people actually reach out to us and tell us. So it's just keep having the
I
conversations,
don't
keep
need to.
planting those seeds.
Do you need to?
No, because I believe that it is reaching the people that need it.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's nice to hear from people, "Hey, I really enjoyed that episode with
Mhm.
Donna," or "I enjoyed that episode with so and so." thank you for
Mhm.
that conversation. But no,
Mm.
it's about trusting and believing that it's reaching the people that need the messages. And what a gift that is to be able to do that, to be able to facilitate conversations that have impact. If we can impact one person through each conversation that we get to have, that's our job done. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's what I
And that,
believe.
I don't think we can end on a better note than that.
There we go.
So, thank you, Brad. Thank you for being the first male guest. And everybody connect with Brad over at empowerographypodcast.com. And you can go on one hell of a binge.
Donna, I cannot fully express my gratitude enough. There's not enough words to express my gratitude for this honor to be the first male guest out of over 150 women that you've interviewed in over 3 years. I am beyond grateful and honored to have been that first guest. I can't even.
Well,
Thank you.
you're doing some heavy lifting, my friend, and
Well,
it's appreciated. And
thank you.
and then we got some more ooh, there we go. You're the bomb
Thank you,
diggity.
Kriya. Thank you so much.
Oh,
I've enjoyed every moment chatting
and
with you.
you
Aaron, thank
connected with
you.
Erin, one of my new
Yes,
favorite people.
yes. And that's the
This
other
is how
thing is
it works.
connect people. That's
Yeah,
another great piece of being a host is you get to facilitate connections for people. And
mhm.
that also, that just creates such a fire in my belly, and it lights me up so much to be able to connect people and to see them go on to do amazing things together.
Okay, I have a rant. I'm
Yeah,
going for
go,
it.
go.
I have been in social media since it started, okay?
Hmm.
And people focus on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
They're looking to go viral. They're looking to 10x. They're looking to, do all of this nonsense that they will
Hmm.
spend an enormous amount of time, an enormous amount of money, just like throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks. With no, there's no guarantees that any of this will work.
No,
When all you really need to do is find some people that you actually like and
exactly.
say, "Who else do you know?"
Exactly. Connection is the key. But I
Social
think
media is built for that.
that's exactly it. It's not about the amount of followers or the amount of likes or the amount of listeners or whatever. It's about the connections that you get to make. And I think a big piece of it too is shifting your mindset. We have to be in and of service mindset to
Yes.
people in business in life.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
a lesson I learned very early on in my photography business is
Totally,
being
totally.
in and of service.
Okay, and now I'm gonna go on another rant. This is why I'm loving Substack, and Brad's over on Substack now
Mhm,
too, and we're live on Substack right now,
mhm.
um, because it's built for that. It feels
Yeah.
like 2009 Twitter, and I've been trying to recreate that for years.
Except you have more characters. You can use more than 140 characters.
Yeah, well, there's more than 140
Yes.
characters on Twitter now too, but,
Yes.
yeah, no, you can
Back
do
in
all
the old days, there wasn't, right?
no, that's how I learned how to write.
There you
Well,
go.
not how
It
to I learned how to write in law firms, but I had to transition from law firm writing to human writing, and Twitter was what taught me how to do that. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, it's just been an incredible experience over there because people actually wanna have relationships, and they actually wanna pay you, and they
yeah,
actually want to be connected to you, which is such a different experience. We are not the commodity. We are not the product.
no.
You get to be a human being.
Yes. Like I said at the beginning, it's the 3 C's: connection, collaboration, and community.
Yeah,
Those are the 3 most important things in business and in life. We
yeah.
need all 3 of those pieces, and that being in and of service mindset is part of the key to that. I wholeheartedly believe that. That's part of why we're all here.
Okay, we're gonna claim that as your wisdom bomb,
All right, beautiful.
and we are gonna wrap this up. Please connect with Brad over on Substack, through his website, LinkedIn, wherever you find your people, and go binge his podcast. He's got tons of episodes there, and lots of brilliant, amazing women, and introduce him to more. He wants. Let's get him to 1,000.
Yes, absolutely. That's the next goal, 1,000 episodes. Donna, thank you so much for the incredible opportunity. I have enjoyed every moment with you, and our conversations are always amazing. So this was just another one to add to that list. But thank you so much for the incredible honor and opportunity to be part of your platform and to be the first male guest. I am just beyond
You're
so
gonna need
excited.
like a trophy or something.
Yeah. I think I need a ribbon or some trophy, something.
Okay, we will be back next week with more. And if you have any questions, comments, tag us if you're listening to the replay, and we will come back, keep the conversation going. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody. And again, thank you, Brad. Really appreciate you sharing all of your wisdom.
Thank you. Appreciate you too. Bye,
Bye, everybody.
everyone.